You're listening to Parasearch Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or their affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to the Dark Mirror Paranormal Show. My name is Kerry Greenaway, as you know, and tonight I'm joined in the studio by my lovely Marcus Manlius. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
I'm very, very, very sober, actually. I'm doing really well. You all right?
Good. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, thank you. And our lovely Carl Hutchinson is unable to join us tonight. He is off. I don't know what he's doing. I'm sure he'll be popping along, hopefully later, to tell us all about where he's gone. All I keep getting is I'm busy. I'm very, very busy. But last week we had some sneaky peeks, didn't we?
Rock and roll lifestyle. Rock and roll lifestyle.
I know, right? Well, we'll
still
have to
not
wait
the same.
and see.
It's not the same. All these people doing this, that and the other, and it's just not the same without the alien guy there. I'm sorry, but it's not. No.
Anyway, on that note, let's begin tonight's foray into what we have found out and about on the... out and about is all I can say. Do you want to kick
some of it is...
I know, you do find some amazingly funny and weird ones, I will say that.
Well, one of them I haven't shared with you is... Do you know, I'm going to come out with it anyway, because, you know, there's all these, you get lots of these reports and you get these conspiracy theorists who say we're living in the Matrix and everything's not real and it's all computer programs and all kind of nonsense like this. Well, there's a video out there of a great white shark. It's not a particularly big one, but it's a great white shark. And it's acting like a dolphin. It's letting people touch it and pet it, and it's swimming on its back. And if it could go and flap its fins, it would. And people are there saying that it's had dolphin software installed into a great white shark.
Oh, okay, that's a different conspiracy.
Well, I tell you what I'll do is I'll put the link into the chat room, and then I will let you guys decide. Just see what you think. That's all I'll say. See what you think, and yeah, it's odd. To me, I mean, personally, to me, it looks like a special needs shark. You know, ooh. I rather think it's got a head injury. I think it may have gone full tilt into a rock, but
or maybe they're right. Is it a possibility that we could do this?
Well, there's a lot of people out there who reckon that we're living in the Matrix, so I don't see why not. There you go. I've put the link in the chat room there for you.
Awesome. So don't forget, if you're going to click on the link, right-click it, and it will take you into a new tab and not take you away from the show. I kind of think it's quite a scary world if we're looking at our governors, our governing bodies, putting money... Well, no, it is. It's developing the technology to put into a shark to make it think it's a bloody dolphin. Oh, I've sworn in the first 10 minutes of the show.
You're like with your red room governess and kinky high-heeled boots and everything. Stop it. We're supposed to be doing the Dark Mirror show tonight. We're not talking about the cat being on heat or anything. Get rid of your governess stuff. Come on, let's get back to the show.
Look, mate, I'm minus 1% bossy. All I'm saying, it was on Facebook. It must be true.
Must have paid them to say that.
So what do we make of it, guys? I don't know about you, but I really don't think that this is relevant because, like I say, you're talking about somebody developing technology that could be implanted onto a brain that would affect behaviour. Now, if they are developing that technology, that is a very scary world we live in.
Quite frankly, I think the government and the shadow governments and all the black operations and everything have got far more important things to research and investigate and make deals with alien peoples than to turn a freaking great white into a dolphin. I mean, come on, guys, really? Yeah, no, I know. today's trick, I'm going to turn this shark into a dolphin. No, mate, no. Just stop it. Behave. Come on.
Well, it might be. You don't know, do you?
Last time I saw a dolphin like that was on Sequest DSV. I mean, and that was a TV show.
Maybe it's just a very friendly shark.
Or maybe it... No, I can't say that. I can't. I really want to say something about it being that daft, but I can't. I really can't say that.
I'm glad he's actually self-regulating tonight. Is all I can say on that.
People going, oh my God, I don't believe he said that. Watch your video and you'll see what I mean. I think there's a chromosome missing there. I'm not too sure. Maybe even an extra one. I don't know. But you make your own minds up.
And you joke about a head trauma being able to change a behavioural pattern. So it could well be that he did. Maybe got hit by a boat or something. He was swimming along, happily doing shark business, and then this speedboat comes on, gives him a good bash on the head. The next thing you know it. And Jay Lynch, no, do not encourage him. You know he doesn't need encouraging. He's self-regulating tonight. That's a good thing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll quite happily let Jay encourage me because, I mean, we're on the same page, Jay and I, even if we're on different sides of the pond.
But like I go back to, it is a known thing. I mean, they did lobotomies back in the day on humans to change somebody's, or their belief was that it would change somebody's psychotic behaviour and basically remove their personality. So maybe this is a thing. Maybe the shark did have a freak accident.
I mean, put it this way, or humans, we've got all sorts of different types. We've got humans with mental health issues. You've got humans that are born with things that give them disabilities and physical disabilities and mental difficulties, and you've seen it in the animal kingdom, and so why not in the fish kingdom? I mean, why can't a shark be born that's, for want of a better word, special needs shark? I mean, he may have a seeing eye Nemo. You never know.
You might be Matthew today. You are going to be, what's that program? Stars in Their Eyes. I've always wanted to be a shark. And the shark's going, I always wanted to be a dolphin. And Matthew Kelly's under there going, and tonight, shark, you are. Sorry, it tickled me.
Look, Nemo.
And Jay Lynch has just said, baby shark, doo-dah, doo-dah, doo-dee, or that song. I'm not even going to go and try and sing it. It'll be Sharky Dolphin instead, wouldn't it? Well, maybe it's got split personality syndrome. Maybe like at night he's deadly shark and during day he's friendly dolphin.
So he's special.
A Jekyll and Hyde shark.
Oh, Jesus. Do you see?
Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, we have this is Kerry without any of her newfangled drugs and alcohol that she does. It's
This is how my brain works. So anyway, that leads us on to... Now, we'll cover this one quick. I can't believe you shared this one as an anomaly. Freak accidents. You talked about the shark having a bash on the head and has changed his personality into a dolphin. This is really bad luck, and it brought me onto the idea. When I read the article, first of all, I was like, oh, God, how awful. Secondly, I thought that is a freak accident and a half. And then I suddenly went into a brainstorm about luck and whether or not when your time is fated, it's fated. No matter how weird it needs to happen, it's going to happen. Why don't you ever tell everybody about the dog one that you sent me, the farm dog on the tractor?
Hang on. Let me just you carry on talking amongst yourselves. Let me just get that one up. Yeah, that was the farm dog that ran over his owner with a quad bike. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's a bit bigger than a quad bike. I think it was like a mini tractor, wasn't it?
That was a quad bike. I've just got to find the thing first. Carry on. Yeah, oh, crapola. Where is it?
So basically, this is what happens. He's tied his dog up in the cab, gets off the quad bike to move a branch or something out of the way, and then the dog is jumping around and happens to step on the go button, basically, and runs him over and unfortunately and tragically kills the man. But is it, when your time is up, no matter what, it's going to get you at some point. It's going to do it in a way that it's going to get you whatever. Do you see what I mean?
being run over by your own dog with your own quad bike.
I mean, I know it's bizarre, but at the end of the day, if it's his time to go at that particular point in time, I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you?
I mean, I feel sorry for the guy, and I feel sorry for his family, because they must look at the dog and go, "Bad ship." But it's and I tell you what, if I was that guy's father or missus or whatever, I'd be questioning who the hell trained a dog to ride a quad bike. I mean, if you look at her and she's going good dog and giving him treats, I'd look at the insurance claim personally. But
I do look at cases like this because they are so far out there. They're like so unlikely to happen. Of all the ways you're gonna, if you said to you, "How do you think you die?" Like illness, or "I'd like to go in my sleep," blah 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 blah. But being run over by my quad bike because my dog turned the on switch is not kind of the one. I don't know how I would react when given. If that was one of my relatives, I'm not quite sure how I would react, to be fair, because it is so weird.
And it was in Alabama. It was in Alabama, so I can. Jay, back me up on this one. I can hear the banjos are twanging now. And that was just a dog after we got off.
You can't stereotype like that. That's naughty.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to say that the dog was a disgruntled lover or anything like that. I'm literally, the dog. He tied his dog to the vehicle. Now they're on farmland, and he was trying to. Oh dear. He was trying to sort out his fencing and that, and he tied his dog to the four-wheeler, which I wouldn't have done. I'd have just let him roam around. And the dog tried to run off, and where he tied the dog, he actually tied it around the throttle body, because on those it's a trigger. It's not a normal throttle like on a motorbike. So for a start, he tied it around the throttle, and the dog tried to run off. That pulled the throttle full pelt. Good night, mate.
Well, as I say, freak accidents do happen, and when they do, it is one where it's either how the.
He didn't die. He's in stable condition.
Oh, I thought you said he died.
Airlift. No. I'm just reading it now. He was airlifted to hospital from the. He was airlifted to hospital and he's in stable condition. The dog, however, is currently sitting behind bars after being taken into custody by the Loxley Police Department. They are waiting for the
Probably because the owners of the dog were like, "I can't actually look at the dog right now."
Sit, let me take that damn banjo off him.
Oh dear. Anyway, talking about freak accidents and stuff like that, you do hear of things like this, and I have to say it puts me in a situation where I either, first of all, I find it comical sometimes, depending on the situation, of course, and then sometimes I think that is so outlandishly unlikely. Is it preordained? Is it destined? So no matter how. What?
I think everybody's got a time that when it. But I also think that everybody's time is not necessarily the time they have to go. I think it can be avoided. When you get like near misses, and you get like near misses of things like that.
Well,
like
is that
the
your
guy
guardian angel bit where that guardian angel steps in to go, "Oh, I don't think so. It's not your time yet."
Well, do you reckon his guardian angel should have tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Oi, mate, look, you've just tied it around the throttle, you bloody idiot. Take it off there and put it round there. Have a word with yourself, But no. He tied it round the throttle and his own dog ran him over whilst strumming on.
But going back to what I said, in a more general way, getting away from the dog out of your head on the quad bike.
No, that's it. I got the dog playing the banjo, looking at him going.
I know, everybody, I've just got to move him on from the dog thing and actually into the broader subject range of that concept. Maybe when, you said a near miss, right? So if you have a near miss and then it's obviously you're lucky and you think, "Cough, bloody hell, how the hell did I avoid that?" And then we often blame like a guardian angel or something to like save you. Maybe they're saving you because it's not your time. Or maybe this person's guardian angel kind of went, "If you're going to tie your dog to it, you deserve it."
Get out of the miss that one. told you not to do that. You completely ignored me. You went ahead, tied it around a throttle. You're an idiot. You deserve this. I have a broken leg. There you go. Could be worse. Could be worse. I could have made
Maybe
him
I'll
not
learn your
look at
lesson.
what... And he could have steered straight over you. No, I gave him the banjo. I told him to play it. He strummed it, and then she jumped off and ran off. So, she's over there somewhere trying to catch some catfish, I think. I don't know.
Okay, now moving on, talking about freakish incidences, we're popping all the way over to Texas because apparently there are accounts of living T-Rexes in Texas. Where do you find these things? This is actually an article on Mysterious Universe, I would like to say, everybody. So we share, that's where our source, came from on this one. But cryptozoology, we talk about this quite a lot. We've covered various topics like Bigfoot and the chupacabra.
I do, yeah.
And so just because somebody has identified it as a T-Rex doesn't necessarily make it a T-Rex, right?
Of course not. I mean, from the descriptions, they're talking about something a lot smaller, like a velociraptor,
A velociraptor.
But
that's the noise it makes, by the way.
Do you remember on a previous show we spoke about there was some reports from some tribes in the Belgian Congo of, I think it was a big sauropod, brontosauruses and stuff in a little archipelago down there that's not been discovered, and they all describe these something great big dinosaurs that roam about. So and there used to be megafauna in Australia up until about 100 years ago, and just because nobody's seen them doesn't mean they've died out. So,
or if you go with the tangled thread theory that everything's happening all at the same time, it's just we're seeing it in different dimensions, that they're seeing beyond.
Mandela. Mandela effect.
Yeah, so no, that's something slightly different, subtly different there, but you're seeing beyond the dimensions. So you are seeing these things, but you're not seeing them in this time frame. You're seeing them in the time frame because it's happening at the same time as this time frame.
Yeah, you're talking like a time slip or dimension slip, yeah?
Something like that, but because I say the theory is that there are multiple dimensions all running at the same time. So like in another dimension you've got, I don't know, dinosaurs roaming around, and in another dimension you've got, the medieval period still going on, and everything's happening all at the same time. So when people are seeing these mysterious creatures, what they're seeing is actually a dimensional overlap.
Wasn't there a case of that in France at the Palace of Versailles?
Yeah, there's a time slip, wasn't there? There was two ladies. They walked back. They were walking in the gardens, normal day. Then it kind of went like a dusk-like feeling, a very muted feeling. And then the next thing they know, they thought they was at a costume party or like when museums and big places put on living museum kind of thing. So they've got ladies in the big dresses and the wigs of the day and stuff like that. And they thought that was going on. But they believe that they saw Marie Antoinette. Yeah. And everything. And then the next thing they know, they were fine. And these two ladies, this was looked at actually by the SPR. And at the time it was looked at. And they still, even after years and years after happening, said exactly the same. They didn't vary from their story. Do you know what I mean? They did. There's loads and loads of accounts of time slips.
Well, it's either that or they were extras in a Falco video. I'm not sure.
I don't know. But there are also, when we spoke to Alison Johnlin, she was talking about we were talking about Mothman and those kind of entities that people have seen. And she was saying that because of the way the sightings are, it's almost like it's a migratory thing, and it could be a species we don't know because they're so few and far between, and it's just doing its usual migration thing. Look at Jersey Devil,
and there's another bat, and I can't remember what particular bat it is, but again, it's in Africa. There have been verified sightings of this thing, and it's the biggest damn bat that anybody's ever seen, and it's bigger than the flying fox and this, that, and the other, and it goes out wiping out indigenous life and stuff around there. But it has been verified that it exists, but nobody can get near it or catch it to confirm what sort of species it is.
And we are still finding species, aren't we? Sometimes quite large. I mean, I was talking about this to Jay when we discussed Bigfoot, And I said, surely something that big would have been discovered by now. And he said, well, no, they've only just found the honey bear or something. It was one of the bear species living on an island. They've only just discovered it. And I was like, really? And yeah, it was a couple of years ago now, but, you know, it was big species are still being found. So if they're that few and far between, I suppose you would have to look at it as a possibility that it may well be another species that we just haven't discovered yet. I'm not quite sure an animal the size of a T-Rex would have been missed, in all honesty, with this one. But what
do you want me to read out this guy's account?
Yes, go on then.
Dear, right. And this is a thing that makes me think. Is the guy didn't give himself any identity? He just said he was MR of Hebronville, Texas. And this is supposed to have happened back in 2013. But this is in the guy's own words, right? Just a couple of months before I'd actually heard a creature I could only describe as a dinosaur, I had been asleep. It was night, maybe around 1 or 2 a.m. I had awoken because I had a bad belly and needed fart. And just at that moment, I heard an unfamiliar screech of my crackers of something running by my window. We have an AC unit in the window, so the window was basically open. I heard its footsteps as it ran by, and it was heavy, whatever it was. I could hear it clearly on the ground. As it ran further away, I could hear it screech again, reminding me of my mother-in-law. It was like nothing I've ever heard in my life. It was loud, too, and I wonder if anyone else heard it or saw it. I live in an apartment complex, and I just laid there in bed, completely bewildered by this thing in front of me, and then by what I just heard. I questioned my sanity, and if I had heard what I thought I heard, so when my friend saw the dinosaur, his friend saw the dinosaur, and she was excited. She was excited and wanted to tell me because of what I heard, and all that makes no sense. I'm only sad I didn't get to see it too, but we both questioned our sanity. And around this time, there was another eyewitness report, this time from a guy in Falfurrias, Texas. It's about 18 miles away from Hebronville, and the witness, calling himself LM, claimed that the region was actually undergoing quite a spate of such bizarre sightings, and at that particular time was coming ground zero for all manner dinosaur encounters. And this guy, basically a neighbour, and I saw a pair in December 2012 on the roadway behind their houses. A family member from Sabinas Hidalgo in Mexico said he saw a big lizard the last time he visited us. And he saw it whilst he was driving near McAllen, Texas. He described it as the same thing we've seen. It was 2 to 3 feet tall, with a large head and long tail, ran on 2 legs, and was very dark in colour. The 2 creatures we saw were very dark brown and walking quickly on 2 legs also. They may have been the wild and elusive Mormon. I'm not too sure. It was about 4:30, and we watched them for about 20 seconds, and they moved towards the dead end of the road. And we got a very good look. For a few nights after that, they heard short shrills coming from the brush at the end of the road. I reckon it was Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses, but just in disguise.
But at the end of the day, darling, we're mocking it just because of area, basically, and stereotypes. But it may be that there is something strange going on there with a creature that may be explainable. I mean, I don't know when. I would always look at what he'd been watching like the night before, whether or not he'd been drinking, whether or not he'd been taking any drugs, you know what I mean, that sort of thing, because it could be he woke up, he saw it outside his window, he heard a noise. Depending on his state at the time, it could be very misinterpreted, couldn't it?
I mean, see, I'm open to a lot of these cryptozoology cases because, as you know, that's one of my things is cryptozoology and aliens, of course. I don't believe for 1 second that a lot of our cryptozoology is. I don't believe for a lot of people say that a lot of our cryptozoology is aliens and it's a prison planet or they're alien species that have escaped whilst aliens have been visiting us and all this, that, and the other. And some of them are supposed to be a dimension travelers and this, that, and the other. Dinosaurs. I've seen the TV series Primeval, didn't do much for me then either. But
I like that program.
I don't see why there can't be. I mean, you got the coelacanth, and everybody said that was extinct, and that was discovered. And there's been more and more sightings of various weird and exotic animals, like the chupacabra. Everybody said it wasn't real, and now they're saying it's real. But there's about 2 or 3 schools as to what the chupacabra actually is. But they're trying to say that the chupacabra might actually be this T-Rex thing that people have seen. A 3-foot-tall T-Rex. It's a T-Rex with dwarfism, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. Okay,
so I think we've covered the T-Rex in Texas. Now, this one trended, and I want to know what you guys actually thought of this out there. We're going on to toys now. Everybody, if you thought T-Rexes and things were we're looking at the ventriloquist doll that blinks. It's a World War II ventriloquist doll that allegedly ventriloquist.
No. Say that again. Say ventriloquist doll.
Ventriloquist doll. What's funny about that?
I've seen nothing. I just like it when you say ventriloquist. That's all.
Oh, right. So, what do we think? There's a video to do with this. If I can stop. Oh, I don't know what I've done. I've done something.
Have you buggered up?
No, I haven't.
You have, haven't you? You've gone, oh, flip. And you've buggered it up, haven't you?
I have. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm clicking buttons like a mad woman over here. But anyway, this doll is supposed to blink, but it's like a locked-off camera onto a glass cabinet, and the doll thing blinks, and then the glass door opens, allegedly all on its own.
But the thing is, my one thing with that glass door is you can't... I call phooey on that video.
Do you?
Because nobody's got a good look. You can't see inside the doll's head. You don't know if it's got any little servos in there or anything to make it move. You don't know if anybody's got a magnet release on that door lock to make it pop open. And it's also... I sort of, when I saw it blink, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then when the door opened and then it started moving its mouth, I was like, nah, they looked a bit too set up for me. That's like the teddy bear that comes out of that other video that we looked at. No, mate, what are you doing? No.
But what if... Suspend your disbelief for one moment, right? Because this is a common thing. No matter what anybody captures, it could be 100% pure, honest-to-God footage with no... that might be true paranormal activity we've just seen, or something unexplained going on with that, which would need further research. But it's not been fiddled with. It's not been, rigged in any way. It is captured as it is. What if it is? Now, it's a common thing. Everybody poo-poos it. And how much evidence are we missing, discounting it because of... we haven't all got the money to do like 100% like cameras to cover every single angle of the room. You can't, it's highly unlikely someone's going to be able to do that if you're just doing a locked off camera on an object. But if it does happen, then it's open to criticism.
No, it is definitely. But I also think that whether it's real, whether it's fake, whatever, it's also very, very good advertising for the museum it's in.
But a lot of artefacts like this do end up in museums because of the nature of the beast. And if we talk about things holding energy, things that have been used in intention work for rituals all around the world, ends up in the British Museum. We've got sarcophaguses and Egyptian mummies and God knows what else. Things hold energy like the belief system is out there in the paranormal. Of course museums are going to have activity just purely because of the collection of items they have there.
I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. I'm really going to sit on the fence with this because
yes, it is good advertising for the museum. I'm not sitting here saying it isn't, but what I'm saying is they may well be capturing pure, real life and kicking paranormal activity.
Yeah, but also on the same thing on that video, you can see dust flying around the camera, and we all know there are people out there who will look at that dust and go, orbs!
Yes,
So-
but the people that are knowledgeable about the field will dismiss something like this because of the way the camera's set and you can't see the entire room, so you can't see, there's a lot more things that you'd want to see. I'm not a camera enough expert to be able to dissect that piece of footage and see what's possibly glaringly obvious to an expert of it being faked. I can't look at it like that. I've got a majority of people would just watch that on face value and believe what they see. But it could be that we need to. But it does get opened for criticism, as I say. And why not in a museum? And if just because they've captured something in a museum, does that mean they then can't put it out there because everyone will go, well, it's just good advertising for your museum?
Do you know what? I think it was aliens operating it. I really do. It was. You can see the metal pole that goes up inside it. You can see some cables and wires coming down off the head. And I think they're probably the things that the ventriloquist moves with his fingers when he shoves it up his back.
No, a ventriloquist dolly shouldn't have strings.
That has, if you look at it, you'll see strings and stuff coming down the side, and there's a metal pole that the head's in, and that's my thing. Is there any wires inside the pole going down that we can't see on a timer with servos and things? We don't know. But as you say, it's not the best angle to be filmed at. So I think for this one, I'm going to sit on the fence. I really am going to sit on the fence for this. There's been a lot of changing the subject very quickly. There's been a lot of things going on this week in the world of UFOs and aliens and stuff as well, and even some of them I've looked at and gone, what the flip are you talking about? So I put that along the same par.
This is the problem, I think, in this day and age. There's so much disinformation out there. It's so hard to be discerning about what could possibly be real and what isn't real. Do you know what I mean? I think we come a bit desensitized to things. So anything that looks too... What's the saying? If it looks too good to be true, then it probably is.
Exactly, yeah. And I think... I do think that a lot of places... And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting them down or poo-pooing them or anything. A lot of these places that have got dolls and things, if, with the popularity of the films that have been out, why not use footage, in inverted commas, of this to help boost your place?
Particularly
it's not a bad thing.
Particularly as these places, a lot of them aren't funded, they're relying on public funding. But that doesn't make it fake. But it does add motive into it.
It does, but I don't know. On a different note, a photographer in Finland has photographed a bear and a wolf that are best friends out in the wild, and they play together and hunt together. Anyway, that's an R factor. Carry on.
Oh, we've got an R factor in the room. That's not quite what I was expecting. Going on to the next one. Actually, it may be an R factor. How many times have you been to an arcade and you've got those grabber things, and the hook comes down, grabs the toy, and then drops it. You've got to get it over so it doesn't drop out the hook to then win the toy. Now, this is in the Daily Mirror.
It was actually... It's a pub. It's a pub in Nottingham that has a dance floor and everything. And this footage was taken, funnily enough, on the run-up to Halloween. So it's at I'll let you decide, it's the Penny Lane Bar in Nottingham.
What it shows...
Can you put the link?
I will do.
Can you put the link?
I will do. Now, what the video looks like shows is that a toy makes its way down the chute all by itself. So this is when the venue is shut. Well. Right, it's not a dodo.
It's a dodo.
It's not a dodo. He reckons it looks like a dodo. Anyway, and walks across the floor on its own. So for me, I'm thinking, that's a goddamn bird. It's just a bird.
You can see it's a stuffed toy.
A bird.
That ain't being shoved up its arse. That's stuffing.
I'm going with bird on this one. I just looked at this and thought, oh, it's just a real bird. It's just the way the CCTV is caught it. It just makes it look like it's come out of there when it hasn't.
I ask everybody in the chat room if the link's in there. Is the link in there? Well, since she's put the link in there, please, just look at that video.
Okay, right, click again if you want to have a look at this.
Kerry thinks it's a real bird.
I think this is a real bird.
No, because just no. When it hits the door at the other end and collapses because its life force has gone, along with all the other toys that are by that door. I'm saying it's a real bird. All right, then. Yeah, carry on, love. Go on then. Somebody
At
get
the
her
end
a
of the
dried
day-
frog pit.
Well, no. At the end of so what you're saying, this is completely fake.
Look at it! Seriously, look at it! God! Hang on, I'm going to put it on and look at it myself again. Let's play the video. CCTV camera looking at the crane here, the grabber thing that you put your money in and you can win a toy. Right, let's look at this. Get past the flipping advert. Yes, you're very good at dancing. I don't know who you are, but seriously, this video of a cuddly toy. Here it is. All right, let's have a look. It's moving around inside the thing, inside the grabbing machine. It stands up, and it drops down and out the chute. And it's a bloody look at it! It's a dodo, and it's strutting its funky stuff. Not walking, it's strutting like it's doing Saturday Night Fever. And all the cameras have picked it up, and it's going all the way down to where the other toys are motionless on the floor, who happen to all be birds. And it hits the door and goes thud, gone. No. No, whatever you're smoking, no.
Well, you just don't know, do you?
No! Don't even, no. Just, they're sitting on the fence, and then there's being devil's advocate, and then there's just like, what are you doing? Serious. Look, just no.
I'm trying really hard to make a point that you don't know.
I mean, that was sponsored by Pixar Studios. Look at it.
But what if the toy came to life?
Gee, look, I'm going to drive from Yorkshire down to you, and I'm going to make sure you're taking your medicine. Even Richard has said, seriously. I mean, Kerry. Oh, Jesus. Right. Brought to you by Disney.
Okay, all right then, everybody. That one's totally fake. Then we'll go with that, right?
I'd say it is, yes.
Okay, guys, just trying to be fair-minded and everything, everybody, but like, what am I supposed to do, eh? Anyway, Halloween is fast approaching us, Marcus Manlius.
It is. Young Alfred here, young Alfie, little 10-year-old Alfie, has already got his Halloween costume, and he's not allowed to wear it near my granddaughter because of the mask. He's got the scary clown from, what are those films, The Purge. He's got the clown costume from The Purge, and we've said he can wear the costume near Harper, but he cannot wear the mask.
Okay, so you love a dress up as well, don't you, Mark?
I like doing cosplay. Yes, I like dressing up as my favourite gaming or Star Wars characters. But for this Halloween, I've decided I'm going to I'm going to have a scar done on my head, and I'm going to have a fake spliff in my hand, and I'm going to go out wearing just a bright, luminous green budgie smuggler, and I'm going to be Harry Potter.
Oh my God!
I'm going to be Harry Potter. Yes.
Oh my lordy lord! Anyway, Halloween is fast approaching, and we are seeing events going on all over the place. I just want to give a couple of shouts out to people in the field that have got events on. So if you're still looking for something to do, then maybe go over and check these out. Now, if you go over to Simply Ghost Nights, they've got a investigation on the 26th even of October at Cusworth Hall. And Jane Harris, the lovely Jane Harris, is actually doing a Victorian event at Himley Hall. Is where she's off.
Himley?
Yeah, Himley Hall. But she's doing a proper Victorian seance and stuff.
Okay, that sounds rather interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to go.
Lots of paranormal events going on out there in the socials. Seeing loads of people doing lots of different things. And our lovely Carl Hutchinson is also doing something. But we only got sneaky spoilers last week. We didn't get any information, so who knows what he is going to be up to. Although go check out UK Haunted Live and you may get a sneaky peek about what may be going on.
Knowing Carl, it probably involves olive oil, possibly even coconut oil, and maybe some mangoes and not a lot of clothing. So I'm just not going to hazard a guess onto that.
Well, whatever he's doing, it kicks off at 9 p.m, but you can't listen at 9 p.m. or watch them at 9 p.m. because, of course, you'll be listening to the show on Parasearch Radio. So, on that note, So do you go trick or treating, and what is it you get up to?
The kids go trick or treating. I normally sit indoors and, well, actually, you're not. I'm like people. I've got to think about hiding behind the door, and when the door's open, going, like ah! And just watching them absolutely crap themselves and scream. And then I'll go, would you like a lolly, little girl?
Oh my God, it sounds so wrong on so many levels, this does, Marcus.
Why do you think I do the voice for that? Like, oh, come here and sit on my lap.
It's so wrong on so many levels. Now, I said
Well,
we didn't know what Carl was up to.
Sorry?
I said that we didn't know what Carl was up to.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually just joined us. Good evening, Carl Hutchinson.
Hello.
Hello.
So what are you up to, mister? You're being very, very sneaky about it all.
It's not being sneaky. It's anticipation for the event. I think that's what it is. It's like if you get a present and it's unwrapped and you know what it is. It's the anticipation.
I'm like that with boobies. I am very much like that with boobies.
Okay. So what are you up to over the Halloween period?
Well, we will be this Sunday on the Really TV, Facebook and social media channels, as well as UK Haunted social media channels. We'll be live for a 3.5 hour live investigation at the Haunted Museum in Northampton. This is our 4th year of doing stuff. It's the first year that we've actually, the channel's actually given us the opportunity to advertise it on the terrestrial channel. So we're getting quite a lot of encouragement from that as well. Part of the 13 Nights of Fright that Radio are running. So yeah, we're going to be this Sunday, 9 o'clock sharp, on the Really social media and UK Haunted social media channels. We're going to be live for a 3.5 hour of the amazing location of the Haunted Museum in Northampton.
Is that the one where there was some controversy over a room that they broke into and are supposed to have occult activity going on in there?
I have no idea on that case. I've not seen any room. I was there a few weeks ago, checking it out, scoping it out from where I'm going to put my CCTV cameras. I don't know. I can't comment on anything like that. I haven't got a clue.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was a different place. I don't know myself, to be fair. It was a haunted objects museum, but not Neil's one. It was somewhere else. Anyway. So
I don't, like I said, Kerry, I haven't got a clue.
So have you got any special experiments that you can give us a little tease on, or is it all hush-hush still?
Keep it clean, young man. Keep it clean.
We are going to because of the way the guys work, the 3 guys from UK Haunted. Obviously, the show is presented by Nick Stepani. Big shout out to Nick. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on the show. I'm not going to let you know what my part of the show is going to be like, but it'll be all explained on the show. We have got some equipment which we've been, particularly with Eamon, been working on since the last couple of lives. You'll see the Infinity machine. That's been improved and tweaked and to a point where it's unbelievable.
I knew it was tweaking somewhere. We just
love
know
a bit of
like.
tweaking. We love a
We
bit
do. Have you got the clothes pegs ready and the candle wax?
Oh, absolutely.
I thought you might.
All that's prepared. But we're also we're bringing back the Human Spirit Board, where on the last one at Abington Manor Museum last time, we actually got, while we were doing the experiments, when we asked where were we got a clear, and the links are out on social media, where we actually got a response back saying the full name, because everybody calls it by one name, but we actually got the original name of crystal clear of where we were. So we're bringing back the Human Spirit Box. We're bringing back a few other little experiments that we did on the last one, but we're tweaking them, we're moving them on, we're bringing them up, and there's going to be some interesting other experiments. I can't go into too much detail, obviously, but one of the reasons I'm not on the show tonight is I'm trying to get my stuff all ready and sorted. But yes, it's 9 o'clock Sunday.
But like I say, we've got a special interview going on Sunday, so you can't watch them from 9. You'll have to tune in at 10 because you'll be listening to me on Parasearch Radio, right?
Now I'm torn. Obviously, been a presenter and that.
Oh, I was wondering which way you were going to go.
I'm just going to go.
Parasearch Radio, 9 p.m. Sunday special interview, everybody. Unfortunately, I can't afford to advertise on terrestrial TV. So I think you might have the edge, Carl.
Well, I think yes, Mark.
The next time you guys do anything, you've got to do an alien thing, and you've got to have the alien guy on it. You know it. I know it makes sense.
I know, but after my little trip out to the States recently, you've got to send me your address so I can send you up the little gifties that I bought you for you.
Yes.
But you need to send me that. Sadly, I don't think there's going to be any aliens appearing in the shows coming forward because it's not that sort of market for it.
Well, it needs to be.
Well, Mark, there's nothing to stop you from touting your own to the TV companies and seeing what you can come up with.
Well, I
think up with Mark wants an alien thing, I think Mark should do his own alien thing. I think there'd be a lot of people out there would tune in and listen, and I'm sure the chat room would agree with me. Obviously, Mark's the alien guy of Parasearch Radio.
Well, he certainly is of Parasearch Radio. Anyway, so lots of people out and about over the Halloween period, but there was one that I came across my eye, and I've seen this in America more than anywhere else. And, of course, it was in the Sun newspaper, so it's got to be true, right? Now, apparently, this is to do with... I don't know if you guys would be interested on Really TV to cover this one, but the world's scariest haunted house. You need a doctor's note to enter. What do you feel about that one?
I think it's good advertising for the place.
Very psychological, though. Before you even get into before you even get into it, and the guy even says this is a mental game. There's
another place as well, because my youngest daughter Taylor, told me all about it, and it's a place in America which is it's supposed to be one of the most haunted places in the world. But the waiver that you sign says you're signing away everything. You can get beaten, you can get tied up, you can get raped, you can this, that, and the other. And the sad thing is, there's a waiting list of 25,000 people who have all signed up, want to have it done. And it's like, are you kidding me? And it's literally the film Hostel, but live action.
I just don't understand why somebody would want to put them through this. Would you, Carl?
Oh, Christ, no.
I know I might come across as this big. No, I don't. People that were at the Haunted Museum in Vegas with me recently will tell you I'm a big scaredy cat sometimes when you've got people jumping out on me. And as I said on the catch-up shows during the Vegas trip, I nearly lumped a clown.
I would love to have seen the news headline on that one.
I must admit, I want to see the CCTV footage, because when I clocked my arm up to belt whatever was jumping out at me, yeah, that must have been hilariously funny. So I'm not a big fan of these whole scare maze type things. The guys at UK Haunted are trying to get me to go to the thing that they go to every year at Halloween. And Nick Stepani, big shout out to Nick, he's the biggest scaredy cat when it comes to people jumping out. And I'm like, Nick can have that mantle, because if I do that, I'll probably end up wetting myself and running off and crying at the door.
What great video footage that would make, though.
I'm the one that makes everybody jump on investigations, so Challenge accepted.
I don't enjoy people deliberately jumping out at me when walking around somewhere. I don't enjoy it. I'm never going to enjoy it. So you won't see me at any of these scare or these Halloween houses that are set up for Scarefest. Particularly the one that you mentioned at the start, Kerry. That one is just mental.
That's just an extreme situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I think a lot of people watch the video before they go in, and the video basically shows everybody that's failed. Now, that could be faked, because what's behind that door has, the only disclosure you've got is this video. It shows you before, and it shows extreme things like being tied up, covered in blood, all your worst phobic fears like beetles and snails and on your face, in your mouth, that sort of thing. It does look incredibly horrific, is what I would say.
All I say is about these things, I think when it comes to Halloween, I think, you've got these scare attractions which are like supposed to be ghosts, supposed to be haunted, but I think there's a different level when it comes to where you are physically scared for your own well-being if these characters are going to drag you off. Because some of these ones, particularly the one we just mentioned, that you physically get attacked. Mm. I'm not saying that. Unless I was into getting strapped up and whipped by something, I'm not paying money to do that.
I'm sorry. Well, Taylor and I were talking about that, and if I went on something like that, and if some guy came out to try and belt me around the head, I'd say, I'm going to knock you out, end of. I don't care who you are or what you are. If it's you or me, you're going out. That's it, end of.
Well, it does say that nobody's actually made it to the starting clock yet.
Can you understand it? If you watch the video for the place, the place is mental.
Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. And through the video, it's sending you psychological cues. So you're seeing the worst things, your worst fears being played out that you're going to go through, like being enclosed, like I say, tied up, snakes, all sorts of things like that. And during the video, the phrase, "you really don't want to do this," is said a lot. Now, I don't think that if you actually went into it, it would be that bad. You might get a few things, but it might not be that bad. It might just be the psychological triggers he's using so nobody completes it. Because allegedly, if you do complete it, then you get $20,000. And the price of it to go into it is just a tin of dog food or a sack of dog food or something, isn't it?
No, I'm sorry. Money's lovely, but I'm sorry if I'm going to be walking out at the end with $20,000 mentally disturbed and completing like a fruit basket, I'm not into that. I'm not signing up for that. I don't want.
Yeah, your name's not Carl Gray, is it?
No, exactly. It's a different matter. You like we've always said in this industry, I don't mind the dead. It's the living that scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah,
and that is just exactly. That's a prime example of it.
It is, but Mark, you've gone through the army, and that's sometimes extremely challenging on a physical level. And you get shouted at, and you get put into horrific conditions, and they kind of break you to make you into a soldier, don't they? So how is that any different from this?
But one thing with me is what you got to remember. I was the first person with one hand and one foot to get into the light infantry and to make it up to an SI, sergeant instructor. So I was bullied and harangued by all these toffs, trainee officers, young officers, this, that, and the other, who didn't want me in, called me all the names under the sun, and did some pretty horrible things to me. I'm not going to go into it. I won't name names, but at the end of the day, I fought the whole bloody lot of them, and I came out of it. And when I passed out and got my rank and everything, I had the curious rank of SI, and I can bollock officers. And I went up to the ones that gave me grief, and I literally, and I kid you not, one of them, I looked him straight in the eye and said, "I effing told you I'd do it, sir," and then saluted, did a smart about turn, and walked off.
So you could do this, no problem.
Not with my temperament. Can you see, seriously, can you see somebody coming at me? You know what I'm like. I just look at it and go, get out of it. It's just not going to happen. Roving reporter Mark Manley ends up knocking out somebody.
He also,
It just wouldn't happen.
The guy who runs this also claims that his secret to such a successful haunted house is actually hypnosis. He actually does use hypnosis and like I say, psychological triggers to make you not want to complete this challenge. So you would have to be incredibly strong-minded to get through this, right?
You've also got a 40, as Taylor just reminded me, a 40-page waiver on that place. It's not just about a doctor's note. There's so many things that can happen to you in there that you have to say all these waivers. You have to sign all this different stuff because of the disgusting things that can happen to you.
But Carl had to sign a 500-page waiver just to go into Zach Baggins' haunted museum, didn't you, Carl?
I wouldn't say 500. It's an A4 sheet, and there's probably about 15, 16 questions. Which, to be truthfully honest, when you look at it and read it, because you don't get an awful lot of time with the waiver because they take the waiver off you. So, yeah, you do. It's like psychological. You can't. It's basically the American system that you're not going to sue them if you snap a nail or you wet yourself and you want a dry cleaning bill or anything like that.
Have you heard half the things that you have to sign for? That's on this waiver. You won't believe. Let me just very quickly pass the headset to Taylor and let her tell you what's on that waiver. You won't believe it. You really won't. Yeah, put that on and tell them.
Hello?
Hello. Carry on, Taylor.
So in the waiver, I was reading it today. You say that they're not liable for, like, if you die, they're not liable for your death. They're not liable for you breaking any bones, for carbon monoxide poisoning, getting fish hooked through the mouth, getting tasered, getting waterboarded, getting screws put through your hands, and getting your tooth pulled without any painkillers.
And they're raping.
Oh yeah, and a lady got raped as well during one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you say? I mean, is it as extreme as that, or have the newspapers made it worse than it is? Because the newspapers do that. They're very good at twisting things and making it sound like a million times worse than it actually is.
Well, if you go on their website, because I looked it up today, there are videos of previous quote-unquote victims. Can't really call them that because they did consent to it. It looks pretty brutal, but it could also just be effects and makeup
and part of the psychological process of breaking you down before you even enter into it, because you're thinking, I am not going to allow someone to do that. So he's sitting pretty. He's got people signing up for it, thinking they can do it. He's hitting them with all these psychological triggers and all this stuff, all saying, we are going to break bones, we're going to pull teeth, you're basically open to any form of physical abuse that I want to throw at you. When in actual fact, maybe he doesn't do any of that. And literally, all he's got to do is a couple of rooms where it's quite extreme in scare factor. What with the psychological triggers the waivers in your head, you've got this, and then you think, nah, mate, I'm out of here, I can't deal with this. Because of that, and he says one of his battles is hypnosis. He uses that as a way of doing this. So it could be, like, who knows, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, with a waiting list of 25,000 people, he's getting out there, he's making his money.
Or, I don't believe it's just a bag of dog food, do you? That's the entrance fee? It can't be, surely.
No.
Anyway, guys, we are coming to the end of the show. If you miss any of our shows, don't forget you can go over to Parasearch Radio over on YouTube. And we are always on the socials. You can always click into the shows through the links that are shared every single time we go live. You can listen on podcast, and it is available to download. So you can listen on the go while you're walking your dog, doing your housework, whatever it may be. In your car, on journeys, you can download any of the shows we have done in the past and listen on the go. So, my beautiful boys, I will be talking to you next Friday, won't I? And that'll be post-Halloween, pretty much.
Maybe not.
Why
It depends.
Yeah, I'll be back from 9 o'clock because I'm done, so I'll be recovering from this weekend.
Well, we'll get to hear everything that happened, so it will almost be like a UK Haunted Live aftermath kind of show, won't it?
Well, to be honest, you won't see what happened because everybody will be watching to see what happened and being part of it. So just go over 9 o'clock. Obviously, after
10 o'clock on a Sunday.
Before you jump down me throat.
Naughty boy.
I was going to say 9 o'clock for the people that can't listen to the show. 10 o'clock if you listen to the Parasearch Radio for the special interview.
Beautiful fence set on there, Carl. I am admiring
I've
you from
I got splinters where you won't believe it.
So we will join you at 9 o'clock next Friday evening for another eclectic look at some weird and wonderful things that brings up different concepts in our heads next Friday. On the last note, I would just like to say don't forget to join me on the Parasearch Radio Facebook group page for your Monday roundup on Monday. But I will see you 9 p.m. on the Sunday for the special interview with Mr. Andy Mercer. Say good night, guys.
Good night, guys, and I promise I'll be back with this wonderful accent.
Carl.
Good night. I'm not going to do any corny outfits. I'm just going to say good night.
And on that note, I say good night, guys. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.